So, fuck, this is the hardest part of this is getting the intro down and acting like I've been having this conversation and I just happen to turn on a camera. By far the hardest part. The first episode, I learned quite a bit in post editing and seeing how quiet I was. Um, how the camera quality was, hence the upgrade this time and the lighting change. Um, I'm hoping both of these make positive differences. The point of this is to learn and grow as I do it, not have episode one just be perfect. Um, which is actually a decent segue into the topic for today, which is uh, first of all, have you guys ever seen the human nervous system laid out, like disassembled and reassembled and like put into this shape? Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to get this on camera here. If this turns out to be shitty, I'll just put some pictures over the video, which probably what's gonna happen anyways. So this human nervous system laid out is ultimately what controls everything that we do. I mean, how we interact with each other, the words we say, the tone we use, our body language, everything that we do is tied to how that like absolute monster feels about what it is that we're doing or saying or how we're behaving or how people around us are behaving, and they're all having the same experience. And it's insane to me, and I'm not saying that I've known this forever. It's something that I think about often, and I seem to keep having revelations about it. Is that monster is within us, that nervous system laid out, and it has all of these like whispers and ideas and feelings and insecurities about how people are perceiving that monster, and that dictates our lives. And speaking for myself, at least, if you if you've ever been in the middle of a conversation and have had a thought creep in that is like you're talking too much or you're being too loud or they don't think that you're funny or nobody wants you here or that's that monster being aware of itself and trying to alter how you change out of fear of how you're perceived by the people around you. And we all like alter ourselves and mold ourselves and try to like squish or shape into this thing that we think people want. And I mean, if you think about it, if you spend your whole life changing yourself and not saying the things that you wanted to say or following the dreams that you wanted to follow or chasing the I just fucking said that. If you go your whole life doing things because other people have said or have hinted at or have social norms have said that this is what you should be doing, um, you spend your whole life living somebody else's life. You could go 60 years and only do things for other people. And I don't mean like selfless acts. I mean like go to parties you didn't want to go to, have conversations you don't want to have, hang out with people that you don't even like, have a job you don't even like, go to a school you don't care about, get a degree that's useless to you. There's so many things in our life that we do simply because that's what we think other people want us to do, or it's what we think society wants us to do, or our family wants us to do, or our friends want us to do. And we're all having the same experience, which to me says, how much different would our conversations look if we stopped doing the hi, how are you? Good, thanks. You? Like that interaction, and I have that interaction all the time, and I usually say howdy, I'll admit, which is embarrassing, but can't stop. But it's just weird. I lost my thought on that. If we stopped having the standard hi, how are you? Good, thanks. How are you? Like exchange that seems like it's required to be had for whatever reason. And instead, we had honest conversations. Now, of course, there are times like if you're meeting a customer or somebody for the first time and they say, "How are you?" and you're having a shit day, you don't want to you don't want to be like, "Actually, my dad died yesterday and my girlfriend broke up with me today and life's just really hard right now. I don't know how I'm gonna pay rent." Like that's probably not the best time to say that, right? But that doesn't mean that we're not allowed to have real conversations with people and actually connect instead of hi, how are you? Good, thanks. You? It's almost like it just comes out. It's so hard to stop that. Um, but we're like wired to be like that. Society has told us that that's how we need to be, and that just if you're not paying attention, that will just run your life. Um, and I can't remember who said this initially. I've heard Joe Rogan say it a million times. Most men live lives of quiet desperation. That's what this is. You're not doing the things that you want to do or that you feel called to do simply because you're worried about that monster is worried about what other people are going to think of it. Oh, you started a podcast? That's cringe, bro. Like, dude, I fucking agree. But that's what I want to do. So that took a long time to get to this point. But, it is what it is. Better late than never or whatever. Um, there are there are other uh, situations or things in the past that have had the same like tone to them in my life. Um, the gym and like health and fitness being one of them is at a certain point it feels like everybody just thinks that you're a meathead and that you're just trying to get them in the gym because lifting weights is like manly or it's cool or like you just pump iron, man, it's sick. Like it's the benefits of the gym go far beyond physical improvement. And of course, that's what most people are chasing, at least initially. But that's like the cherry on top of the sundae. If you zoom out a little bit, um, there's so much more to it than like the meathead gym bro label that a lot of health and wellness people get. Um, and none of this is like I'm the guru that has it all figured out. I don't think anybody does. All you can do is just try to be more aware of it. And I mean that's been like the majority of my like self improvement or internal growth in my communication, my understanding, my compassion, my empathy is all tied to being aware of what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, when I'm feeling it, and what those things mean. What do those point to? And for a lot of people, I think instead of admitting, like whether it's like out loud or internally, admitting that they're not aligned with who they really want to be is very difficult. And a lot of people, including myself, justify that that misalignment as responsibility. I don't have time to do A and B side projects because they interest me because I'm busy uh, providing for my family. I'm like, yeah, that might be true, but do you really not have time, or is that just an easy way out of not trying? Because if you never try, then like you didn't fail, you didn't not make it. And I think that a lot of people hide behind or consider that responsibility, and I think that that's just not being honest with yourself. And at any point, you can wake up and say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna start going to the gym, or I'm gonna start watching what I eat, or I'm gonna start a podcast, or I'm gonna start playing guitar again, or literally anything, whatever it is that you feel called to do and you feel passionate about, you are allowed to wake up and say, you know what, I want to do more of that. That makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me happy. It gives me purpose. It ignites a passion in me. You're allowed at any point to just say no more and demand more from yourself. Like you don't have to say no more and burn all the bridges and sell all your shit and leave all your friends behind. Like no more just means that you are no longer going to be stagnant and provide excuses as to why you can't develop, why you can't close the gap into where you want to be. And like I said, it could be as simple as just eating healthier. You don't have to. Um, I think it's Marcus Aurelius that says, or Epictetus, or whatever the hell his name is, one of the Stoic philosophers, said, "Do not terrify yourself by imagining your entire life at once." Like where you are and where you want to be isn't one step; it's a million steps. But you'll never get to step 1,000 if you don't do step one. You'll never make it past where you are if you don't make a step forward. And it's, I mean, it's tough and it's hard to be consistent. It's hard to make the decision, first of all, and then it's hard to actually do it, and then it's hard to do it consistently. But the only difference between somebody that fails and somebody that succeeds is the person that succeeds didn't stop. They just kept failing, and eventually you figure it out. You learn. You learn what skills you're lacking. You learn where you need to improve, what needs to be better, or what doesn't matter. Sometimes you need to remove things to be better, and you close the gap to where you want to be, one step at a time. If you know you're meant for more, start acting like it. It's that no one's coming to save you mentality. And that can sound like all hope is lost, just give up. But that should be freeing. It should mean that your life is in your hands. So make something of it. Don't just live idly and hope for a raise or a promotion every year, and you make a little bit more money, which doesn't matter because inflation just goes up and cost of living goes up, and you lose income faster than you gain it in that cycle. Instead of doing that, which is what most people do, just find a hobby and start doing it. And it doesn't even have to be money related. It can just be something that you're passionate about. It'll it'll blow your mind how much it defrags your mind to do something that you really care about. It's awesome. It's for me, it's this podcast. Like, yeah, of course, the goal is to have a successful podcast that people listen to, and hopefully, I make money off of it. But that's not the point. The point is that I love writing and I love philosophy uh, and just like conversing about and reflecting on why we do the things that we do as people, as humans, why we interact the way that we do, why we experience the emotions that we do, um, how they impact us, how we impact other people. It's all like that is by far the most interesting thing to me, and a lot of my expression in that is through writing, which I need to find a simple way to upload the things that I write for these episodes as like an essay, I guess it would be. Um, but I don't know. Those are my thoughts on this. That monster in our body, the nervous system, is so worried about what other people are going to think or say about what we're doing that we bend at their will to be the person that we think they want us to be, which is ironic because they want us to be us and we're not, because we're trying to be what they want, what we think that they want. And how arrogant it is of us to assume that we know what that person wants more than them, right? So I think the moral of the story is you should be yourself and you will find your people. Live as honestly as you can and as openly as you can, and your people will find you. So yeah, this episode, the first one I had, like I said, I write like an essay that's like the topic of the episode. Um, and the last episode, I took that essay and I broke it up into like sections, and then I had, admittedly, had ChatGPT put it into like a timed, not a script, but like so the sections were timed. Like at minute 3, I should be at this point because I'm fucking new to this. Um, and when I watched it back, it felt like I was reading a script and not like I was, thinking openly in the moment. And I want it to be more of the latter. So this episode, I just have, my bullet points to like kind of try to keep some guardrails up and keep me on track, so I don't ramble too much. And I don't know. I want it to be more natural, and I'm sure it'll change again in episode 3. Um, but yeah. Anyways, that's it. Looking forward to episode 3. We're gonna do this every day. Every day. We're gonna do an episode a week on Mondays every week for as long as it takes. And if I go through 400 episodes, like I think it was Chris Williamson I was listening to today, Modern Wisdom, said for the in the first 450 episodes, he had amounted 250,000 subscribers. I think he has like 4 million on YouTube now. And that means that 40% of the episodes were 25% of the viewers. So if I got to do 400 episodes, then you know that's is what it is. I'm here for the repetitions and the self improvement. Everything else is just cherries and syrup and everything else on the Sunday. So tune in next week.